I ask you this. Panthers are 0-3. When did they get off the schneid?
Yeah.
When did they get off the schneid? Which, by the way,
question.
Is just a fantastic schneid. It might be the best word in the history of the world. When can they get off the schneid? When can they get their first win? I was on WRAL, the morning news this morning, and they started talking about the Minnesota game, right? Because when things are going rough, it's smart to just look towards the future, right? We talked about last week, and then we looked towards Minnesota, and there's a way you could two 0-3 teams. Minnesota is also 0-4. They feel different, but they're also 0-4. So there has to be some hope going into the game, right? Minnesota is, and I'm going to say this, they're a better team, right? Their quarterback's playing better. Justin Jefferson will be the best player on the field anytime he's on the field. Jordan Addison is a nice little rookie when healthy. TJ Hawkinson is one of the best tight ends. Defense might leave a little bit to be desired, but with the offense should be good enough to make. The Vikings, on paper, are the better team playing better football. They're 0-3. But guess what? The Panthers need this win. The Panthers need this win. Minnesota at home need this win. Because guess what's up after that? At Detroit. Detroit's playing really, really good football. This isn't your father's or your grandfather's Detroit Lions. They're playing really, really good football. After that, at Miami. Miami is 3-0. They're playing really, really good football. They scored 70 points.
Bruh.
I'm not sure the Panthers have scored 70 in all three games combined.
54.
There you go. Not even close. They scored 70 in one game through 3 games. The Panthers have 54. I'm not counting that as a win for Carolina. I'm not penciling it in. And then they have
Chalk it up.
Then they have a bye week. 0-6 going into the bye week is a real possibility. Minnesota might be the best chance you have to not go into the bye 0-6. And 0-6 in a bye week is a real threat to enthusiasm within the team. Right? It's a real threat to, right? Because you get a couple days off in your bye week. You should, right? You should. You unplug, unwind, see your family, right? Take the kids to school, do all those sorts of things. But guess what else you do on a bye week with your time off? You hear from people. Right? The metaphorical submarine that you go on for the season where you're disconnected to the outside world, you come up for air on a bye week, and you're going to hear everybody. And if everybody is saying, oh, you're 0-6, oh, it's worthless, oh, you're going to have a top 3 pick and you're going to have to give it to the Bears, oh, this guy stinks, oh, that guy stinks, that coach stinks, that player stinks, it's a real mental drain. 0-6 in the bye week is a real possibility. And oh, by the way, that is the scariest thing for the Panthers. The horror movie, they try to show you the big scariest possibility during the trailer, so you know when I go see this movie, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing coming to get me, whatever it is. In the trailer for the Panthers horror movie season, all you would do is put Roger Goodell on a stage with a podium saying, with the second overall pick acquired in a trade from the Carolina Panthers, the Chicago Bears select Drake May.
Whew.
And then, right, the screams and the lights start flashing. That's all it takes. That's the scary moment. It's like this. Were you an Entourage fan, the show?
No, I never got into it.
Okay. I
know of the show.
You're familiar of it,
yeah.
Right? The main characters, the movie star, or not, I don't know if he's the main character. It's all based around a movie star, and his agent is wild and crazy out there character. Very brash. There's a point where the agent tells the movie star and the movie star's friend, do you know what kills your career? And they say, making a bomb, like making a really bad movie, making a movie that bombs at the box office. He goes, no. Passing on a hit, right? When you were the first choice for Jack in Titanic and you said, I don't get it. A boat sinks? I don't know. I don't want to. And then it goes to Leo. That's what kills your career, right? Because you could have been Leo. Like drafting a bust, if Bryce is a bust, and I don't think he is, or at least not yet, but drafting a bust doesn't kill your team if you were drafting up there anyway, right? Remember the Cardinals drafted a bust in Josh Rosen, but it was their pick that they used, so when they had the number 1 pick the next year, they tried again and drafted Kyler Murray. The scary thing is trading away a pick that becomes an all-time great.
Yeah. That's
the scary thing. Right? If the Panthers just stuck at number 9, right? Overdrafted Will Levis. Like, let's say you may say, like, trading up and drafting Bryce, that's bad, but it's not as bad as if they stayed and drafted Will Levis. Well, guess what? You draft Will Levis and you stink, you end up with Drake May. Like, that's the thing, right? You can really mess up your franchise by trading up, and that pick becomes someone great. That's the scary part. And 0-6 going into the bye week, it starts to become a bit of a real possibility. Because you might say, oh, we can still turn it around. Last year they went on a hot streak down the stretch under Wilkes. Yeah, I get it. I hear you. But does that happen when everyone's enthusiasm is sapped by the fact that you started 0-6? Because guess what comes after the bye? This is where it gets really interesting. Houston and Indy, both at home. CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson, both at home. If you really want to end the season, have Bryce Young lose to those two. Then you start to hear all of the what ifs, the shoulda, woulda, couldas, the why didn't we, the how did you miss, the I wanted him all alongs. I encourage you to do this, by the way. Talked about our YouTube page earlier.
Yeah.
We've been obviously talking a lot about Bryce Young because Bryce Young is Bryce Young and Bryce Young. And on our YouTube page, just about every single Panthers conversation we've had recently, go in the comments. There's one of 2 comments are the most popular. 1, I always wanted CJ Stroud.
Well, of course.
2, they believe that Frank Reich and the coaches all wanted CJ Stroud, and it was the owner that said Bryce Young.
Well, that is interesting. There might be some merit, at least to the owner definitely wanting Bryce Young, because now we did interview Scott Fitterer back in April. I had a chance to interview him back then right after the draft, and he did say, hey, I asked him straight up, all right, hey, when did you know that Bryce was the guy? I said, straight up, when did he? He's like, the moment we traded up. Like, even before that. Basically, is what he said. Like, we knew he was going to be our guy.
He kind of had to say.
Even before that. But we were going after him. But Tepper told Bryce Young long before, like, hey, we're drafting a quarterback 2023. We're drafting a QB. Tepper was sold on Bryce Young.
Which, again, I'm not questioning the validity of it because it might be true. Or maybe you'd say it likely is true. But I'm saying if you want those comments to go from the YouTube comments where it's relatively harmless to real conversations that are being had everywhere, start 0-6 going into a bye with CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson next on the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Now we wanted CJ Stroud, we wanted Anthony Richardson conversations become real prominent. And teammates might even start having some questions, which is really, really bad. That's the kind of stakes you're playing with right now. That's my point.